if you ever go to Rome, go to St. Isidora's, which was the old Irish college. I went to St. Isidora's. My father was there in 1950. And you notice all the great manuscripts, I don't know whether you went to see them in Trinity when they came over, were they were there rotting away. Oh, I came home and I ate them all. I mean, these are centuries of the most wonderful. But Eugene O'Curry, he was the one who did all those. You see, look, there's your... Here we are, the Askeaton Psalter, look. The Askeaton Psalter. And then I look at the Hebrew. The Bodleian Library, you should contact the Bodleian Library. I'm sick of contacting the Bodleian Library.
They told you it wasn't there, didn't they?
No, it was the British Museum in London told me it wasn't there. But I know where it is, because I know from Eugene O'Curry where it is. The Psalter is the instrument that accompanies the Psalms, and is our sovereign seal. Anno Domini 2005, so that's when, and has 12 strings, a Christian symbol and ethos. In 1849, Eugene O'Curry travelled to London and visited the libraries, the British Museum and the Bodleian Library. And that's what you see, I know where he went to. And they'll be trying to call me and think they do. And I let them think that.
Well, there's the O'Curry College there, isn't it?
That's it there. And look, Michael Tuesday. Did you see that down? Was that down?
Yeah.
And that's James McGuire. Look, married to Catherine O'Curry. I'm finding there's two McGuires are one. And of course that's rare. And of course they would know all about sovereignty and sovereign seals, harps and everything else. And John O'Donovan. I mean, I believe that they are still regarded as, aren't they? I mean, you now, you're into studying that. I mean, I'm not a historian.
Well, I was never told about John O'Donovan and Eugene O'Curry in school, but the work that they did for restoring, translating all these old works.
And of course, Eugene was all Irish. Eugene was the Irish scholar. And of course, there was a row too. They were married to two sisters. What's the name of them? From Broadford, Clare. I think. But anyway, the whole lot of the O'Currys was a whole family there working on those manuscripts and things. The father, Owen
O'Curry, yeah.
And you see a photograph of him in a sort of a top hat and tailcoat and sort of a grey horse with two long sticks and a basket in. He collected all those during the famine and buried all the people around there that died of the famine. He gave them a Christian burial, Owen. And that you see that, but you don't know what it is. You often see that in prints and that thing. But that was Owen. But anyway, that's where Michael Cusick, he got, all that from. But they still have that every year. I've never been to it. But, what was I talking about? But John, Eugene, and they all did the research, all the family of the O'Currys. And trying to think of the name of the girls that were married. Anyway, and Eugene, of course, he wasn't. I mean, John, you see, was from Kilkenny and would be a bit more anglicised, you see, but Eugene wouldn't be. Eugene didn't speak. He learned to speak English in Kilkee for the visitors. He was spoken Irish all the time. And they just have to. They work for the commissions, like the Board of Works. He was the only one who, in Limerick, has said Sarsfield Bridge, that could do the mathematics to build the Sarsfield Bridge and all around that. He worked for the Board of Works in the end, and did all those
because he understood the harp.
He understood all the mathematics of it. Yeah. But John O'Donovan, anyway, John used to be getting him to sign, "Your obedient servant," the Crown, always, they had their reports all, and he used to go through the walls, he wouldn't sign it. Because they wouldn't pay him, you see, if they didn't sign, This was a British, very British. And it's been murder over him, the two of them. But in the end, they never got the recognition for doing all the research of the Annals of the Four Masters. Yeah. John got it, but Eugene didn't, or any of his family never got any of it. Because the same thing like Geary at the time. Geary didn't get his degree either, his law degree. He was here in 1913, all during the troubled times, and India's independence, I told you, and the British wouldn't give him his degree. They wouldn't give Sam McGuire. They withdrew all these things from Sam, his pension, everything. He died of starvation. And the same with Eugene O'Curry. They wouldn't give him any credit or anything. And the same, and he did it for Maynooth as well, as you know. I mean, Minute, all this paper's gone minute. Just to know the... It's amazing what's around.
Obviously that information is very, you know about Vaughan's Hotel and all the, you know, it's there someplace and there's only very few people see it or know what it is. But Minute are bastards, and they have all Eugene O'Curry's papers out there as well. And of course there you're talking about Cardinal Newman. He was the first Catholic history professor. It was Newman appointed him, Eugene O'Curry, in Newman College in Dublin. Do you know where it is? Up in Stephen's Green. It was before UCD came into being. It was Newman College. And do you know what the Byzantine church is?
No.
It was Newman set up that as well. It's on Stephen's Green. You know where Newman House is in Stephen's Green? No. Are you from Dublin? You go up to the other side of the park, you know what place it is. If you're coming up, it's over that side, and it's up from the corner. That's where UCD used to be. You know, the concert hall and all that. And that was all part of UCD. That's where it came out of, was Newman College. And the church is up there. It's a Byzantine church, and there's a plaque up in it. Go up and look at it, to Eugene O'Curry.
No, I'll check that out.
And he was the first, Newman was the first Irish Catholic historian, I think that's what he was. He went to Queen's too. He was a brilliant man.
Eugene O'Curry?
Yeah. Well, Catherine O'Curry was married to James McGuire. And that Brehon Law School, you know, and it was Michael Cusick, you know, founded the GAA?
Yeah.
He went to the O'Curry Brehon Law School down in Donaha.
And the Brehon Law Commission, that was John O'Donovan and Eugene O'Curry, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, they were involved, but that was that's still, all those records are still there, I believe, in Dublin. There's still a place in Dublin where they still, and I told you Eugene O'Curry's they have a school every year, Brehon Law School in Carrigaholt, which is near Donaha. There's a plaque down from there as well if you ever go down to Clare. And I think students go down to that because he's in the telephone directory, the fellow who was looking after it.
Well, we need a few Brehons, so we might be sending them down there.
But that's what Brehon is a judge.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. And the Brehon Law, you see, that's why 13 strings from that. We put up 12 strings, you know, for the Dáil Éireann courts on the 21st of January 1919. But out of the Free State and Civil War, then for anyone who betrayed the 1916 proclamation of the Sovereign Republic of Eire, there was no execution in Brehon Law, and that's why 13 strings are up in all the courts. If you did that, that's your punishment. That's up there. That's the law of the land. That's what it's telling you. So there's no doubt about it. That's what's up there. And if you do that, that's your punishment.